Okay, welcome back. Not sure what happened there. For some reason, my computer just froze and stopped recording. So we'll try and pick up where we left off. So the next one up on my list, or in this pile of DVDs I purchased, is The Green Hornet. And Green Hornet Strikes Again. It's actually a combination. So this is not the current Green Hornet movie starring Seth Rogen. That's over here in my other collection, so it's not this one. I do own that, but that's not what this is. This is The Green Hornet. It's also not the television series starring Bruce Lee. What this is actually the 1941 film serials. This is what used to play, I think it was like Saturday mornings or something in the movie theaters. Little kids would go there, pay like a nickel. They'd get to see the Green Hornet and a couple other things. And then what it would do is it was like 15 minutes long, and it would leave on a cliffhanger, and you'd have to come back the following Saturday, pay your nickel again, go in and see the next episode. The original one was just called The Green Hornet, which was him trying to take down this crime syndicate. And I think that one had a total of 13 parts. And then they did another one I think it was a year later, so about 42, which was The Green Hornet Strikes Again. So you've got The Green Hornet, and then you had The Green Hornet Strikes Again, and this one I think was 15 chapters. So I got those. There are a couple other old serials that I own, and then a couple others that I still need to get. But that's another one that I add to my list of that I currently have, and we'll put Seth Rogen's masterpiece of crap back up there. Believe me, I'll get to reviewing that frickin' pile eventually. So far that's the stack, but we're not done yet. Because after buying all those, I went back, checked I checked through my bank account to make sure how much money I still had, and I decided to pick up a few others, so I went back to the store the next day and got a few more things. And if this gets too long, I'll split it up into a couple different videos. I'll probably do a cut where the other one cut off. So, in case you can't tell from all that bag rattling, okay. So in case you couldn't tell from all that bag rattling, there's actually there's a couple different bags there and a lot of movies in those bags. Okay, so first up on the top of the pile, again in no particular order, I just pulled these out of the bag, is Cloverfield. It's been out for a while, never saw it. I know it started the whole found footage handheld camera type of thing, so it's been on my list of things to see, but now I have it, again for $1. Again, another movie I might actually own, but I'm not 100% sure, and if not, it was only $1, and that's Tom Cruise's Minority Report. Why does this feel so heavy? Oh, it's got multiple discs inside. What's that one? Bonus features. Okay. So, that's that. Another one of those movies that developed who I am. This one only in a small part because it's actually a remake of a movie that I used to love, and that is The Time Machine. There was a older version of The Time Machine that came out in the 50s, 60s, I think, which, even though it was an older movie, and I didn't really like older movies back then, for some reason that movie I just loved, and especially because my whole fascination with time travel. And then they did this remake, and I was like, oh, let's see how it compares. And a lot of people crapped on this movie, but I still loved it. It still tells the same story, but goes more scientific into it, I guess, trying to explain things and how they would work in an environment. And that's one thing I appreciated about this one. So this one and the original are, again, some of those movies like Pump Up the Volume that kind of, make me who I am today. So you got that movie to thank for it if you enjoy watching these videos. Next up, The Matrix, the original one. Again, another thing I owned at one point, sold it off probably when I was in college. For a long time, this was the only Matrix film I had ever seen. I only actually saw the sequels maybe 5 years ago, if that. And these came out back in God knows when. I don't see it on here. But yeah, so I had sold this off at one point, and again, they had the combo pack of getting all 4 of them: The Matrix, Reloaded, relaunched, revamped, whatever, and the Animatrix. And I might still get those just so I can say I have them all, but the original Matrix, honestly, in my opinion, is the only one worth watching. I haven't actually fully seen the Animatrix. I've seen part of it, and it just didn't draw me into it. But the original one, it's really all they needed. I understand that it was such a big blockbuster, that's why they did the sequels, but really, all those sequels did was complicate everything and honestly ruin a decent franchise. And by the way, The Matrix was originally blue, not green. Yeah. Anyway, so that's The Matrix. A movie I've seen part of and have been wanting to watch ever since, just to see how it actually ended, is this one, a bit of a period piece, and that'll be Troy, starring Brad Pitt. As I saw like one small part of this, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool, and just never really saw it again after that. And I've seen it for sale a few times, but it is always out of the price range I'm willing to pay for it. But again, $1. This one kind of pisses me off because this was just added to Netflix the other day. Again, it's got fucking hair stuck over. What is going on with this? So this still had part of the security seal on it. It's been picking up hair or something from, I don't know if it was in the bag or in the store or what, but got someone's random hair stuck to my stuff. And it's not mine because I don't have that color hair. But this is one that I bought because I liked it, sort of. I remember liking it and wanted to give it another watch. And at the time it wasn't on Netflix, or I probably just would have watched it there, but literally the day after I bought these, this came up on Netflix. Depending on when you watch this video, it may or may not still be on Netflix, so don't take my word for that. But that is Zathura, which I guess was a spiritual successor in a way to Jumanji, a new adventure from the world of Jumanji. So yeah, it's like another one of those haunted board game type of things. And I remember liking this one a bit more than Jumanji, probably because it's space-based, where Jumanji was kind of like the jungle takes over the city. This is like the house gets transported into space. So yeah, I remember liking this one better, a little bit better than Jumanji, and it's something I've always wanted to rewatch. And so I bought it for $1, and then it came up on Netflix. Oh well. Stuff doesn't stay on Netflix forever, does it? Okay, so another one I may already own, but again, most of my DVD collection's in storage, so I have no idea of checking. Sad thing is, when I put everything in storage, I actually wanted to do a catalog of all my games and DVDs and CDs and everything, so if I did want to start buying stuff again, I'd have a record of what I already had. Unfortunately, I ran out of time to do all that before putting everything in storage, so kind of flying in the dark here. So I may already own this. If I do, well, now I got a second copy of it. And that is The Brothers Grimm. Again, another movie I've only seen a couple times. Actually, I may not even own it. I may have watched it on Netflix at one point. Or at one point when Hollywood Video was still around, I had a membership where I could rent like 3 movies a day. Or I could rent 3 movies, and I had like 3 days to return them, but I could actually go home, watch all 3 of them, bring them back, and get another 3. So this might be something I rented at one point. Don't know if I ever actually bought, but I may own a second copy of this. But yeah, it's again, the fairy tale aspect, another big part of things that I'm into. And anyone who knows the Grimm brothers' actual fairy tales compared to what we get out of Disney, you'll realize that they're a lot darker than you realize. So when this came out, I was like, okay, let's see which way they're going to go there. Are they going to do Disney Princess, or are they going to do traditional Brothers Grimm? And it did enough traditional Brothers Grimm that I actually remember liking this quite a bit. Don't know how it holds up compared to my memory of it, but for $1, and we'll add it back to the collection if it's not already there. Next up, okay, so another weird aspect of my life, in case you can't tell by my name being Rev, is I am into religious studies. I don't really subscribe to any one religion as much as I appreciate parts of each religion and how they tie into different things around the world. And oddly, that all kind of stemmed from when I was a kid. I took on this weird fascination with studying hell. It was something that I had heard somebody say about something in the Bible that I knew didn't sound right to me, so as I researched on it, it had something to do with the devil. And it didn't sound right to me, so I started doing research on it, as much research as I could at the time, and realized that they were way off, as usual. And it kind of took me down this rabbit hole of research into other aspects of hell, other aspects of the devil, which in turn leads you back into religious studies, because you can't research one side without researching the opposite side. And that kind of took me into my interest in religion from a researcher standpoint, I guess. I don't want to say scientific standpoint because there's that whole scientific versus religion type of thing. But I also have a theory on that I won't get into in this video. But one thing that a movie that I enjoyed basically because I had that odd fascination with hell and the devil at one point was Keanu Reeves' The Devil's Advocate. Just movies like this, for some reason, I don't want to say they speak to me because it's not like, oh, I'm into the devil and I'm a devil worshiper and all that. No, I'm not. But things that involve the devil and hell fascinate me. And it's basically like I watch it and I take into consideration everything it says about something I've researched. I'm like, okay, well, how does that fit into what I know? And do I find validity in what they're saying, or is it just clever storytelling, or is it shit storytelling? It's hard for me to explain really why I have this interest in it, other than that I do. It's kind of the same thing with, from a religious standpoint, on the opposite side is the ending reveal in Dracula 2000. I've always been into vampires as well. Not real heavily into Dracula as far as like Bram Stoker's Dracula, but vampires in general. But then when I watched Dracula 2000, that reveal at the end, that really got my mind turning, like, oh wow, that's an interesting concept. I don't know if I 100% follow what they're saying, but it gives you something to think about. And that's kind of the same way that I look at movies like this. So yeah, don't judge me. And yeah, spend enough time talking about that. I don't want to get too far into that rabbit hole, but it's something I might actually touch back on at a later date. But I don't worship the devil, so don't freak out. I am a legally ordained minister. That's why they call me Rev, okay? Like I said, I don't subscribe to any one religion as opposed to a theory of all religions, which all religions in some form include hell and the devil. So, again, you can't have one side without the other. But that's a discussion for a different time, just like politics. So let's move on. Another movie I've seen a small segment of, but it caught my interest. Alexander. I got the revisited final cut. They had like all the different versions. I was like, well, I might as well just get one because I'm sure it has like the theatrical shown and then the other crap, so you can actually kind of see them all. At least I think it does. But yeah, Alexander, period pieces, depending on what era of history they're placed into, catch my interest just as well. Like I said with Troy, Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans, which I got on a double feature a couple hauls ago. Just historical pieces like that I kind of get into. I was really into Legends of Hercules with Kevin Sorbo and Xena Warrior Princess because they were kind of in that same realm. But then again, there's other period pieces that I don't get into, like the World War II, World War One type of stuff. Like I actually didn't really like Captain America: The First Avenger that much. There were parts of it I liked, but I thought it could have been handled better between the period piece and the current time blend in. So that kind of I have issues with that. So, but yeah, anything like older than that, like medieval stuff, you know, those eras that like Troy and Alexander, those I'm into. So usually, if it's a movie like that, I'll probably enjoy it. Although Clash and Wrath of the Titans looked pretty good, and yeah. There's another movie I saw a preview for the other day. It's been out for a while. I think it's called Immortals. I think that was on DVD, but I thought I'd spent enough money when I was up to like $30. I was like, yeah, I think that's enough DVDs for a 2 day stretch. So that'll probably be on my next haul if it's still around. But yeah, that looks kind of interesting, although I've heard that sucks too, so we'll see where that goes. And let's take a quick break here, and I'll be back with part 3 of this video.